Hey, welcome back to the Strong.Sistas recipes playlist. Today we are making some homemade raw butter. So what is raw butter? Tell me. Raw butter is butter made from raw milk, so milk that has not been pasteurized. Pasteurized is a heat treatment process that can destroy some of the nutrients in the milk itself. So raw butter is going to have more beneficial enzymes and nutrients than butter that has been made from pasteurized milk. Plus, it's super fun to make your own products. We've recently been making a lot of different things, which we're gonna keep posting in our DIY and recipes playlist. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to stay tuned for all of those. But for today, we are making the raw butter. We're making ours from cow's milk. You can make raw butter and raw dairy products and just dairy products in general from any sort of animal milk, of course. But when it comes to making butter specifically, or you are looking for using the cream at the top of the milk, which needs to separate. And so why we recommend using cow's milk is there is a visible separation line and the cream separates easier as opposed to sheep's milk and goat's milk. It doesn't separate as easy and you won't get as much natural separation. You can use one of the commercial cream separator products, but that's not budget friendly and we don't have one, so we have been using cow's milk. So we made raw butter last year and it was a super simple process. Two supers. So we're gonna share with you guys that super simple recipe today. Let's go. All right, the only ingredients you will need are raw milk and salt, but this is definitely optional. Today we're actually gonna make unsalted butter. And then the only equipment that you need is some sort of blender. We're using our large Ninja. You need some sort of strainer or colander. We've got 2 glass containers, one a little bit larger, one a little bit smaller. And then this is a pumpkin carving shovel, but you need something of like this sort so you can scrape off the cream from the raw milk, which we'll show you. All right, step 1 is to let your raw milk sit in the fridge. We let ours sit for 24 hours and this just allows for the cream to separate. So you can see the cream layer and then the milk layer. It's really subtle, but you can kind of tell the different colors. So here's the cream and then here's the milk. So this is technically considered now skim milk. So this has been sitting in the fridge for 24 hours and now step 2, we're going to remove the cream. So that's why we had this little handy, ooh, look at this beautifulness. That's why we have this little handy tool. So we are going to separate the cream into this jar. We've enlisted the help of a larger scoop to get more of the cream out faster. So this is a 1/3 scoop and it fits perfectly inside this mason jar. But as we approach the cream to buttermilk separation line, it's okay if you get some buttermilk in here. It's going to be separated later, so don't worry too much about that.
Don't stress, just kick it to the left. Don't stress, yeah. Should always add music to your cooking. What?
How's the line?
Oh, you are approaching the line.
Approaching it? It's like the equator.
I would say you're done.
Okay.
So
you can
here is
actually
the
start
outcome.
to see in here. All right. So step 3 is to let the cream sit at room temperature for about an hour or so. That'll just help with the blending process. It'll blend a little bit better. So we are going to put the remaining milk into some other containers so that way, because there will be more cream separation, so that way it'll be easier to separate that cream.
So basically giving more surface area to the entire amount of milk, and therefore we can separate more cream as it separates.
Yes.
Separate.
So we'll put these back in the fridge.
And that is so we can make some more
Yes.
DIY dairy creations.
All right, so the cream that's been sitting out at room temperature is now going to be, I'm gonna pour it into the blender and let it blend for probably about 5-ish minutes.
Just keep
We used a
blending.
different blender last time, so I'm not sure. We'll see.
5 minutes later or so.
It kind of looks like cottage cheese, a little bit.
So we just kept
cottage
blending and
cheese.
blending and blending until we got this consistency.
So ideally you have a slotted spoon to like spoon out the butter out of here and separate from the buttermilk, but we do not have a slotted spoon. So we're doing a sieve. So we're gonna set the sieve in this glass container and then pour the chunks and the milk mixture. See some of the chunks coming? Alright, so the sieve actually worked pretty well. It's such a cute amount. Ideally you have a lot more cream and raw milk, but our local farmer didn't have that much. So again, going to put this buttermilk back in the fridge, but the next step is we are going to further separate the buttermilk from this, and we're going to knead it with our hands. So you want clean hands, and it's going to be running under cold water. We run this through while kneading. So this is further separating the buttermilk, so the milk, and it's okay if you don't get the milk separated 100%. That just means that the butter will go rancid faster. But the word rancid, it's not a bad thing. That just means that it's being cultured, and so it's going to have a little bit of a sour taste, which a lot of us aren't used to. But that's because it's developed, like the probiotics are developing, there's culture in it, it's growing life.
Yeah, it just means that bacteria are starting to populate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually typically a good thing.
Yeah.
This is really turning out to be a beautiful yellow though, which is really a good indication that it is fully grass-fed milk.
Finished.
Beautiful. Just keep kneading.
Just keep kneading.
Just keep kneading. Kneading. Just keep kneading.
In our last butter batch, it did go rancid after a few months in the fridge, but it became like a sour cheese taste and like a cheese consistency. It was kind of cool.
It was very good still.
Yeah. That gold yellow goodness. So the final step is to place it in a glass jar for storage.
So we've got our butter in our little Tupperware here with the cute pink lid, and the final step is to just store it in the fridge. It is very soft right now, and it will harden up in the fridge just a little bit like typical butter, but if you let it sit out for about 30 minutes at room temperature, it will soften up
To spread.
It's a good little spread.
Spread the butter.
Spread the butter.
Spread the butter.
Spread your butter.
Okay.
Okay. Going in the fridge.
Thank you guys for joining us today for this raw butter recipe. Hope you guys enjoy, and let us know in the comments below if you make it yourself. While you're here, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button to stay tuned for all of our future recipes. We're going to keep posting in our DIYs and our carnivore diet vlogs, etc. But until next time, behave like an angel.